Yeah.
By federal standards, 6% of the state lacks access to high-speed internet. FCC data showed in 2017 that the gap widened all across the valley, including Union County, where an estimated 21% lack such access. So why or why not is the availability of broadband internet critical in rural parts of Union County, and what steps, if any, should county government take to address this issue?
Okay. So I do agree with my other the other person that's running for county commissioners. It's an issue that she's running on, rural broadband, and yeah, it's high speed internet. Rural broadband is important for us because one is an economic issue. A lot of businesses need to operate, and I don't think operating just on Wi-Fi is productive. I think we need more access to it, especially the outer areas of Union County. And it's just a matter of trying to stay connected to people and to the world around us. A lot of things are changing. More high-speed internet it's coming to us in other parts of the country. So we want to remain competitive in the job market and businesses and supporting small businesses. We have to get broadband into our area. Some steps we can take is explore what the state has to offer. If there's anything statewide that's happening, and maybe we can piggyback from that. If there are any legislations happening, but we can also come up with our own and see what we can do to have that available to people. You cannot compete in the job market if you don't have high-speed internet. This is where the world is going, so we have to go with it.
Union County Commissioners went 8 years without a tax increase to its general fund before a slight increase entering 2017. The board held the line in the 2 budget years since.
Mm-hmm.
Do you envision any scenarios where a tax increase is unavoidable, and do you foresee that playing out over the coming 4-year term?
Nobody likes tax increases. I know there was a tax increase on the hotel tax because of the rail trail, and it kind of makes sense a little bit because we need to pay for a service that we're providing. We're taking over the Union County is taking over the rail trail, and I think that's a good service that's provided for its citizens, and I want to expand that. I don't foresee any tax increases in the next 4 years. At least I don't want to do that. I think if we do responsible budgeting and we look at all the programs and try to figure out where the money needs to go and what the priorities are, we can keep the taxes the same and not increase them. The only increase I would foresee is if it makes sense for the county, if it's something that people are going to benefit from, and things like that. But I just don't want to increase it just because, and things like that. So with the borough, I've been learning that you can have a budget, and if something cannot get done in 1 year, it can always get done on the next year. That's why you have 4-year terms and things like that, and hopefully longer than that, so you can figure out the responsible budget to serve the constituents. And in the borough, we didn't increase taxes, so I think that's possible to do in Union County as a whole, and part of it is because we did responsible budgeting, and we're doing the street projects. The borough did take out a loan on it, but it's being paid responsibly. We got a good interest rate, and it's going to be paid in the long run, so it helps our residents. So I think doing that, we don't have to increase taxes.
What do you believe to be the most pressing issue facing Union County residents?
As I've been doing more research, one issue that has been brought up was the Gray String Commons, and there is ideas of selling it. I have a different view on that. If you're going to sell it to whom and at what cost is going to happen. I think the idea for Gray String Commons to Union County to purchase that was because of the burner or something with waste. I can't remember that far back. That was happening. It was an idea, we can control that and we can develop it and see what is happening. So what I'm proposing is we can continue to look at it and see what's needed, but I am proposing renewable energy, and I'm not sure if that's a spot that a manufacturing company can come in and do solar panels or wind power and things like that, but it's something that's worth looking at, the idea and exploring that. And I say exploring because I don't know all the answers, but as a commissioner, You kind of have to do your research and ask people, what do you think about these? And as you're going campaigning, ask, what's important to you. So that's an issue. If it happens that it needs to be sold to take out the debt a little bit down of that, then to whom and what for. I'll be very cautious to who we're going to sell it to, because then the buying process was not a good idea then, because then the fire tire burner or whatever waste can come in and buy it and do it again. So buying it would have been for nothing. So I think we need to develop a vision for Gray Stream Commons. And I think for Union County, one issue that I'm advocating for is the opiate epidemic, because that is my background as a drug and alcohol counselor. I think we can enhance programs and develop others within the Union County for providing treatment for the mental health and drug and alcohol process. And that's a lot of things that it's happening all over Pennsylvania. It's not just our county. You don't hear much about it in our county, but it happens everywhere, and it's something that's affecting every family of walks of life. So I think those are the two pressing issues.
What do you believe to be maybe the most under the radar issue? Something that people aren't considering or talking about facing county residents, and do you have a solution for that?
Under the radar issue, I think climate. Well, climate's one of them, but the farmers. Uh, I think that hasn't been talked about where we're talking about renewable energy. We're talking about bringing jobs into the area. We're not talking so much about the farmers. I went to an ag preservation meeting. They talked about farmlands and how the program helps them preserve those farms and economically helps them a little bit, and that's part of a commissioner's job to do. And I think we don't look much. I think farmers are always getting the back end of the deals anywhere, because climate change is happening, farmlands are getting flooded, people are losing their crops and things like that, and we need to figure out how we want to preserve the farmlands and the farmers, but also how to move them forward economically, so they can. Yeah, I've been talking a lot today, so I'm drawing a blank here, but how to move them forward and have future generations say, oh yeah, I do want to be a farmer, I do want to have farmland. Let's stay here and let's develop that. So I think with the farmers, we don't talk about it much. I haven't heard anything except for the ag land preservation. That's how I heard about that issue. So I think we need to look into the farmers more, because I believe they can be the backbone of this county. It's beautiful lands around, so we need to look at what kind of other things they can develop in their farms.
So finally, why do you believe that Union County voters should cast their vote for you to become county commissioner?
That's a great question. Why not? So what I like to ask. Why not? Well, I believe, one, I think, I'm running as a Democrat, and the Democratic Party is kind of shifting in ways of who's representing who. The Democratic Party has become more diverse and becomes, in terms of representation of people. But I'm a hard worker. I like to serve the people. I have a lifetime of public service. Yeah, I'm only 31 years old, but I've been in leadership roles and public service since I was a Boy Scout in Puerto Rico. So that has followed me throughout my life in college and right now serving as a borough council member. It's about service. And I think as we run for commissioners or run for office, we got to realize this is a job for public service. You're serving the public. No matter if they're Republican, Independent, Democrat, whether they agree with you on some issues and they don't, you still listen and you try to find common solutions to the problems. And I think, I'm a hard worker. I bring something new to the table, and I hope to get the opportunity to do that. I think I have a lot of experience with mental health and opioid epidemic, so that will help with an informed board on those issues as well. So,
Luis, thank you
yeah.
so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.